Hello everyone, today we're going to learn Daily Tanya for Kaf Ches El Tav Shin Pei Daled. So we're going to start by recapping where we spoke about how talked about in general the difference between prophecy and Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy on the one hand and Chochmah, wisdom, on the other hand. That wisdom in theology seems to be much more lofty, but it's also much more kind of concentrated and constrained to our understanding, whereas the Torah contains within it the infinite itself. Uh, and so we got to speaking about how what is revealed in the Torah is Maisa Datzilus, or Achoraim de Chochma. In other words, it's the hind side of Chochma. In other words, not the face, which is, you could see a mode of the divine will itself, but it's the back. In other words, the way that this divine will is sort of mediated to the world, as it exists. And it's mediated through, like we said, Bina and the attributes and so on. And Tanya compares it again he compares the difference between the sort of front and the back of these spheres as to the difference between the vitality of the spirit that is present in human thought or in the human mind even, to that which is present in action, which is incalculably lower, right? Thought sort of is the action of the mind. It's the life. It's what it means to be human in a sense. Whereas action is kind of a almost automatic process that barely relies on that which makes us unique as thinking beings. So now we're gonna get into today's learning, and now he's basically going to explain why Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy is so crucial. כן על דרך זה ממש, היא בחינת חוכמתו יתברך, מה שיוכל להתפשט ממנו להשפיע בתחתונים כולם. Okay, so he explains it just like we talked about, sort of the difference between the vital spirit that is in the mind and the vital spirit that is in action. So just like that, like we said at the intro, is the difference between the sort of presence of God in the face of the sphere and to the presence of God in the back of the sphere. So the face is sort of united with God, with God's will. It's you could think of it as a mode of God's will, whereas the back is a kind of mediated expression of that. הם כאין לגבי בחינת פנים המיוחד במאציל ברוך הוא, right? They're nothing when compared to God's presence within the face of the sphere, which is united with Him. דכולה קמי כלא חשיב, for whom everything is like nothing when compared to Him. וההשפעה לכל הנבראים כולם, שהם בעלי גבול ותכלית, נחשבת ירידה וצמצום כביכול לגבי המאציל אינסוף ברוך הוא. So, and as concerns God, His revelation in the world is an unbelievable, unfathomable condescension on God's part. To go from being, infinite and sort of beyond even the possibility of understanding, to something that is comprehensible. על דרך משל, right, as metaphorically, כמו שנחשבת ירידה וצמצום לשכל האדם המשכיל, המצומצם באיזו עשייה גשמית וחומרית ממש. Right, so again, we said it's very similar to the way that kind of man's mind exists in thought and how it exists in action. Man's mind, as it is in thought, is sort of doing its own essential work, whereas as it is in thought, it's sort of very, very, there's a very small amount of thought, relatively speaking, when we're talking about action. ולכן משה רבנו עליו השלום, שהשיג עד אחוריין דחוכמה, זכה שתינתן על ידי התורה. Okay, so it is for this reason that Moshe Rabbeinu was so worthy as to have the Torah given by him, because he was able to sort of grasp until that point. He was able to grasp, if you will, Maisa Datzilas, in other words, the sort of action aspect of Atzilus, as we explained yesterday and the day before. Right, it says, Shehi Novlat Chochma, the Torah is called Novlat Chochma, that which comes down from Chochma. Pirush ma shenovel mimena v'yored lemata. Right, so that which comes down from Chochma, and it sort of comes into the world to be revealed. ומתלבש בתורה הגשמיות שלנו, שעיקרה ותכליתה, the main point of the Torah, הוא קיום המצוות לא תעשה ועשה בפועל ומעשה ממש. Okay, the whole purpose of the Torah is to do the positive commandments and to avoid the negative commandments. So, since these are actions, it would make sense that the place where they come from is Maaseh Atzilus, the action aspect of Atzilus. Uchma'amar Razal, and as the sages say, Hayom la'asotam, today to do them and tomorrow to receive payment for them. Vegadol Talmud she'mevei ligdei maaseh, and how great is study that brings action. Vehalomed shelo la'asot noch lo shenitapcha shilyato al panav. And this is a bit of a harsh, this section is a bit harsh. He's saying that anybody who learns not in order to do, it is better for them that that while they were in the womb, their mother's placenta had suffocated them. So in other words, this world is all about action. And the Torah is coming to instantiate God's wisdom in action. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu, who was able to receive that part of God's wisdom, Torah was given by and through him. Okay, and every person must be reincarnated. Okay, Judaism, especially Kabbalah, accepts the idea of reincarnation, or what's known as the transmigration of the soul, with the soul going from one life to another. So one must do this until they fulfill all of the 613 commandments. This is known from the Arizal, Tzagluria, and he discusses this. The point is that this world, as we said, it's all about action. It's about how to instantiate God's will in action, and that's what the Torah is all about. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu's revelation is so important. So that's all for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. Take care.